Hello, and welcome to a crossover scene for the mage and werewolf venues. Today, Alicia is contemplating a great deal of things while doing some baking at the Verbena Chantry. She quite frequently does baking at the Verbena Chantry. In fact, residents of the Chantry have probably noticed the frequency of both emptying and refilling of the cookie jar of late. But one of her fellow residents, Tom Dooley, she has seen in passing once or twice because they both live there, but neither have quite found the time to get to know each other particularly well. So when he is drawn by the smells of baking, which strangely smells both of cookies and also of baking meat, so might be a bit confusing. He might find Alicia busy at work.
As you see Tom come in, very clearly noticing the wonderful smells, you see something very uncommon. Because though you both have never spoken to each other, you remember quite vividly that Tom's face is always friendly with other people, always just has this almost uncompromising warmth to it. But his face, though he has a very I guess soft half smile because of the wonderful smells, is racked with pain and agony, and his eyes that are usually so much like warm pools of water in the summertime seem to have frozen over.
Alicia's going to look ever so slightly concerned, and but she's not going to actually directly ask him what's wrong because they don't really know each other that well. But she will say, "Would you like a cup of tea?"
I would love one, thank you.
And she'll proceed to make a cup of tea. If you notice, there are cookies all over the place cooling down, and they seem to be different shapes. Some are circular, and from having lived in the Chantry, you'll have noticed that all the ones that end up, all the freshly baked cookies that end up in the cookie jar are circular, but some of these cookies are bone shaped.
Tom will give a very soft smile that doesn't quite reach his eyes. May I have some?
Oh, yeah, sure. And once she's finished making the tea, she'll grab a plate and put some of the warm cookies from one of the cooler trays onto the plate for him.
And you'll notice
Not
that
from the bones. It's all the circular cookies.
and you'll notice that Tom has his staff that he usually walks on in his lap as he rolls his wheelchair into the spot that he usually sits at. Excuse me, I Tom looks very awkward. I wonder if I could ask you for some help. I don't think we've ever formally met. My name is Tom Dooley. He'll smile and extend his hand.
and she'll shake his hand and sit down with her own cup of tea and plate of cookies next to him.
And he will sip and
You
munch.
probably know I'm Alicia Hayward, but yes, please do go on. What's wrong?
Forgive me if I do not use the proper vernacular, but I must speak with the leader of the werewolves that resides here. I bring a message and a warning.
Right. Well, out of those of us that live here specifically, that would be me. And she looks concerned.
Oh, well, congratulations. He'll say in a very genuinely friendly way.
You'll probably have noticed that there's only about 3 that stay here with rooms, but there's more that visit occasionally.
Mm-hmm. Then please allow me to introduce myself properly. As I said, my name is Tom Dooley. I am the former apprentice of of Master Alex Winterbourne. He sighs heavily as as the name crosses his lips.
I hope Alex is okay. He's kind of gone missing lately, but I wasn't sure whether that's common for mages or not. I figured if anyone was worried about him, they'd tell us, but
There is much I must explain, and so I will start from the relative beginning, as it's the beginning that I had. Alex Winterbourne has come back.
oh, that's good.
Tom holds up a finger. He's very angry. He is much more warlike than he was.
Oh,
He, you see, I had originally hoped to meet with you and yours to discuss my formally taking over the Chantry, or 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 rather, not so much taking over, but assuming the mantle of the master of the Chantry. If you take my meaning, I was to be Alex Winterbourne's successor.
okay. I don't really know a great deal about how mages work, but I generally assume that you mean the boss mage, so to speak.
Yes, yes. And I was all prepared to meet with you and your family or kin. I'm sorry I haven't had time to learn. And he gives Alicia a very genuine apologetic look. Mm.
I'm sure we've all been very, very busy lately. I mean, it's a great big storm. There was that dome in the underworld. There's goodness knows how much stuff going on. So, yeah, if you mean the group of us that live here that I'm in charge of, that would be my pack. If you mean wolves as a whole, that's a different matter.
Well, fair enough. Um, Alex, um, Alex has given you this place, and he means to set up a new chantry. That being said, um, such being the case, I feel that I should also share with you that I have not stopped loving Alex and caring about him. We have reached a parting of the ways. I am here at your sufferance. I am for all intents and purposes a mage who is seeking to find the right path of Verbena, you might say, and where Alex
I,
Winterborn.
okay. Oh, is Verbena one of the types of mages then? I thought that was just the name of this place. But, you know, I've just always heard it called the Verbena Chantry. I thought it was its name, but, that's okay. I am learning too.
And Tom will give Alicia a very soft, understanding smile. The name Verbena refers to a tradition, a style, you might say.
I take it's plant-based then, or something, given the amount of plant spirits that there are around here.
We Verbena have a strong connection to the earth and nature, yes.
I did kind of notice that about Alex when he was here before.
Alex has become darker, angrier, as I said, but he gives you this place.
Okay. Well, that's good. Um, I'm a bit worried about him though. If you say he's come back so much darker, maybe he needs his friends to support him.
Allow me to explain a bit more clearly. And just for the sake of expediency, I'm going to put a blip or uh, a link in the chat that connects to the scene that I did with him. I don't actually have you seen that scene already?
I haven't, but I'd rather get your perspective of it in character, if that's okay with you. Just of the information as you would explain it to Alicia.
Well, the thing is, actually, what I'll do is I'm gonna roll a memory check. Um, because
There were
I
changelings present?
know.
No, okay, that's good.
See, I built Tom sort of like semi like myself, in that he also has quadruple spastic cerebral palsy, which it also involves having a bit of a memory problem, or at least in my case it does.
Okay.
So Let me see. Can I roll a intelligence and meditation? Is that okay with you?
Yep.
Okay. Oops, I'm sorry. Oh boy. Interesting scene though that was. Intelligence. So there's 3 in intelligence. Now where's that meditation? I'm sorry about this, by the way.
That's okay.
Okay. So 5 altogether. And just so this doesn't suck completely because it's actually rather important, I'm going to spend a memory or a will point.
Okay.
Okay.
Lots of successes.
Yay. So Tom will proceed to explain to Alicia that when he arrived, Alex Wintermorn is of the opinion that his home was stolen from him, that his time portal was, or his home and everything connected to it was stolen from him. His words, not Tom's. That the node,
Stolen by who? He invited us to live here. Help protect it.
I know, but you now you see why Tom just looks very sad. He is of the opinion that you and yours have overstepped your bounds a bit. As per when I called him on the fact that he invited you and offered you a home here, that is the point in which he said that you can have it, and that he would no longer be putting any energy into it.
Well, I'm sorry he feels that way. I've been doing my very best to make sure that it is a place where, both mages and werewolves can feel at home.
And that is something that you and I very much agree on, because he and John Smith are, in my opinion, they are blinded by fear. They see enemies where none exist, and
I have made that mistake recently myself. It's I'm not saying that I'm seeing enemies where none exist, just that I'm seeing more enemies than there are out of a group, if you see what I mean.
I understand.
And assuming that the whole group feel badly when it is only some of them that do. I hope very much that he's able to feel better about this at some point.
he 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 was especially aggravated, and again, his feelings, not mine. Tom is extremely careful to express this properly, as he has no animosity toward the werewolves at all. He he felt that you're putting a totem on the node.
We didn't. It's on the chantry.
I know, I understand, but he.
In fact, we
he
had to convince it very seriously to consider being a guardian for the land rather than for the node itself. But I'm sad that he has these feelings and hasn't spoken to us about them.
He may, as a matter of fact, he mentioned that he would be collecting his things. And when I told him, quite frankly, that I felt that he was making a mistake and quite possibly ruining what could be a very meaningful coexistence with him.
Sorry, I couldn't hear that.
Oh, sorry. When where exactly did I lose you?
You told him that he could be ruining a very meaningful, and then it kind of got a bit muffled as it got slightly too close to your mouth, I think.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
That he could be ruining a very meaningful relationship with you and yours. And that I would not support him in his anger-induced beliefs. And that is essentially when I told him that while our paths of Verbena and the cult of ecstasy may diverge here, it didn't mean that I didn't love him.
I don't really understand that last part, but
it's mage talk.
I get it's mage thing, yeah. But it's good that you reminded him that you do care about him anyway, that even though you don't agree with him, you do care.
You know, I've only arrived back in New York relatively recently. I guess he vanished while I was gone.
Yeah.
I had gotten a call about my grandfather's death.
I'm very sorry to hear that.
That's why I've been away so long. And Tom just... His voice is very controlled, but you can see tears coming out of the corners of his eyes.
Alicia's going to rest a hand comfortingly on his shoulder. She knows there's not really much she can say at this point, but she is showing that, whilst she might not necessarily understand the pain entirely, she sees it and sympathizes.
out of my entire family, he was my only friend. He was the only person within my family to see any value in me. So
That's very sad, as much for your family as it is for you, that they can't see that. I personally have only just found my some of my family. I never had any until very recently.
and that hearing this, Tom is actually going to rest a hand on one of her shoulders, equally comforting.
No, she doesn't look upset. She looks like she's a little bit sorry that she can't actually understand the pain that he's going through. She knows that it's pain, and she can value that, but she doesn't. She's got nothing to compare it to.
Mm. I will spare you the gory details for now. But I am glad that you have found your family, or some of them.
My father found me, and I'm very much looking forward to going in and visiting my grandparents when I get the opportunity.
I would imagine you would. I'm
Since I've
I'm
never seen them, it's I'm a bit nervous, to be honest.
I'm I'm very happy for you. And if you would pardon me for saying so, um, even though I have only just formally met you, I'm sure that your grandparents are going to love you, and it would be a great mistake on their part not to.
Well, thank you. I don't think anything's going to get rid of this nervousness until I actually do it, but wow. Until I actually do it, or unless I'm busy worrying about some of the other things that need worrying about. But
Sorry.
thank you.
I suppose I come now to a personal a personal request, I suppose.
Okay.
Tom sort of ponders this. Um, before before he left, he asked me to act as his successor. I I, I do not think that I have the right to assume such a position any longer. However, I for one feel that we owe you a significant debt. A debt which I hope I can gradually come to repay. Would you allow me to live and work alongside you? I need no title. I need no special treatment. But I believe by working together and coming to gradually understand each other, I can perhaps find the true path of Verbena.
Of course.
And
I don't really intend on there being much in terms of titles, so you're not likely to be particularly different from anyone else in that respect. But my attitude, admittedly, when I came here, I didn't really see it as mine. But even over time, and even with you telling me that Alex has willed this place to me, it's mine. But that doesn't change the fact it can be yours as well. The two aren't mutually exclusive unless you choose to make them so, or start to cause problems. It's I want to make this a place where people can work together to make the world better.
it's funny. One of the first things that I was going to discuss with you, as a matter of fact, after I had taken the mantle of master, as
I
as
take
per,
it. I take it being master just means you're in charge of the mages here. Yeah?
yeah, yeah,
Yep, that's fine with me. You can have that.
I don't
Although you might need to discuss it with Connor. I don't
I
know.
don't I don't know either. I haven't seen him since, or rather, I haven't spoken to him since last night.
I have no intention of getting involved in who is in charge of who when it comes to mages. That is mage business. But
Here's
of
the
course,
thing.
both of you can stay as long as you want to.
Here's the thing. I I've thought about this long and hard, and I don't know which way Connor is going to go, but I
The thing is, with Connor, I would heavily suggest against him leaving too much. I mean, if he wants to go and live somewhere else, that's fine, but he made an agreement with Black Unicorn to help protect this place. And if he breaks that, that would likely be a problem. Now, like I said, what he wants to do in terms of mage business, that's mage business. But and entirely what he wants to do in general is his decision. But I certainly wouldn't recommend trying to break that one.
speaking of Black Unicorn, and out of character, I was making arrangements with Max, maybe tomorrow, about actually being able to meet him or
Yep.
her.
I've always referred to Black Unicorn as a him and Unicorn as a her, but they're neither actually specified, so it could be either.
Well,
And in fact, they can turn up as either if they want to, but that's just how I tend to refer to them.
that's cool. But in I just wanted to point that out when I asked this. But
Hmm.
um, going back into character now. I would very much like to make Black Unicorn's acquaintance. I While I may eventually be the only mage left, I I don't want to give up on this place, and I don't want to give up on the unity that we're building here.
Okay, well, I will see what I can do about you meeting him. Obviously, spirits are, well, sometimes they're busy and so forth, but we can definitely try and arrange that. And I don't think I mean, we discussed mages with him when he agreed to protect this place, and while he didn't seem to, well, he seemed to think that it probably would have been a better idea if the Garu had simply taken the place. He didn't have a problem with agreeing that the mages can kind of stay as long as they help to protect it. It's kind of a everybody needs to pull together to make this place safer and better for everyone and so on. As long as essentially as long as you're a part of this place and you help with it and so forth, much the same as I think you'd probably want to anyway. I don't think he'll have a problem. Obviously, if you want to talk about that with him yourself, you are quite welcome to do so. But I don't want you to worry too much if you don't need to.
I'm as far as myself and pain and worry. We three are like old friends. I am at your service and the service of those here. I may I may be blacklisted by some I once called my mentors, but in this case they are in the wrong.
I
And
know that feeling quite well. I can't go into I can't and won't go into the details of how our society is structured, but
you only
there
just
have
met
been
me. That very much makes sense.
yeah, there have been many that think that we should have gone a more warlike path.
I'm I bow in the face of your wisdom. And as he says so, he actually does.
And she'll look embarrassed by this because she's not really used to people that actually kind of bowing to her. She's always been a bit more of the underdog, so even though she's got some respect and some kind of rank lately, she still doesn't tend to get as much respect as most of the others of the same rank. It's unusual and flattering that he seems to respect her. She kind of you can tell that she's pleased by it, but finds it awkward at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Um, I do hope that at some point when perhaps we have earned more of each other's trust, perhaps we might learn from one another. But until you feel more safe and secure with me, I will not ask. But if you need my help,
I there are some things I can tell you, and there are some things I can't tell you, and they're unfortunately unlikely to change because some things are not just my secret, therefore the protection of my people as a whole and our society and so forth. So those things, I'm afraid, are going to have to stay secrets because it's not my place to tell you those.
that
But
that is
anything
just fine.
anything else that you have questions with, I'm generally happy to answer. As I said, I might have to tell you that some questions I can't answer, but I don't mind you asking them.
I appreciate that. Um, I meant what I said. I do hope that some juncture perhaps we might learn from one another. But trust me when I say that if you need help, I will stand by you.
Thank you. It's good to hear that. Um, like I said, I don't know a great deal about mage business, and I don't really kind of want to know anything that might get you in trouble or cause any trouble in general. But a few days ago,
Mm.
one of the mages, he did this thing at the top of a set of stairs that made this strange, made the air feel kind of thick and difficult to get through. And
Can you describe the mage?
oh, it was the intern.
Oh, what was he doing here?
Pardon?
What what was he doing here in the first place?
Oh, it wasn't here. It was somewhere else, but it was at the top of a set of stairs, and he did this thing that made it so that the air was kind of thick. I mean, when I needed to get through, I could anyway, but it did make it a bit more difficult. So, I'm not really sure what that is, and admittedly, tiny bit irritated by it, but not seriously. Um,
May I ask where this is? Because that is a rather interesting spell effect.
it was over at Jericho's house, I think.
Oh, that would explain it. Um, and at least to some degree. It may have been some.
He said something about people that love Jericho. I didn't hear everything, but
Huh. Some form of added security, perhaps. I don't know. I
possibly.
I
But
don't.
I'm just wondering. I mean,
Hmm?
obviously, seeing as you don't know what it was, it might be difficult for you to figure out the answer to this at the moment. But if you do find out, whether that could be applied to like the chantry as a whole to kind of discourage certain people.
Hmm. I I will apply any and all abilities at at my disposal to help with the security of this place. After all, it is our home.
Yes, and if he said that it wouldn't have worked if I didn't actually care about Jericho. So, presumably it's based on a certain kind of person or a certain group when you make it. So if it could be people with hostile intent or something like that, because I was thinking about asking about it first, but seeing as apparently the place is mine currently, my plan is to put a fence. I mean, we're already kind of putting a bramble hedge in, but to put a fence and over the gates to put a sign that says "Come in peace or not at all."
Brilliant. Then I applaud you for that. I love it.
Because as long as people aren't here to destroy things, as long as the mages don't suck the node dry and the changelings, okay, I'd rather not have changelings come here because they just kind of freak me out. But you know,
I'm
theoretically, and theoretically other supernaturals in general, if they're visiting or they're friendly, I have a lot less of a problem with them than well, that's kind of obvious really that I have less of a problem with them than if they're coming here trying to attack. But I think as an instruction slash warning slash welcome all rolled into one, it makes sense.
if you will give me some time to ponder this, I believe I can come up with a suitable spell crafted around that very ideal. Those those who come in peace will find themselves welcomed, and those who come not at all in that state of mind will find themselves barred. I I think I think I can do this. I may need some time though.
Obviously, the one that the intern did, I was able to get through with effort. So I understand if it won't be entirely successful, but it's bound to be a start. And I don't I like I said, I don't really know much about this and how it works, but if there was a way to tie it into some form of an alarm
Hmm.
that would let us know if
Hmm.
someone of such an intent was
If you
to cross.
hmm, I see. Um
As I said, I don't know what's possible, but if I give you the ideas, then you can find out whether they're possible or not and whether you personally can do them or not, and so on. But as I
I
said,
will
those who come peacefully and want to help protect this place and to improve this place and to help the other people who live here are quite welcome to stay. I'm not going to ask you or Connor to leave anytime soon.
I will I will put some considerable thought behind this as I think that's a wonderful idea. Um I I will need some time though.
Of course.
In the interim, if there is something I can do, you have but to ask.
Oh, I should probably give you my mobile number if you need it.
Why don't I give you mine then? And then exchange phone numbers.
Mhm.
Yay. Mm, Um, as you've been talking, end the scene unless there's something else you wanted to say. Uh, but just so you know, as you've been talking with him, the ice that seemed to have clouded um, his eyes is still there, but it's thawing. The 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 warmth is very, very gradually coming back.
Yeah, well, she can understand you being concerned about how the werewolves might treat you, and that is a weight off. But she knows that when people you care about have changed and have gone darker, it's a big enough concern that nothing she can say can fix that. Um, before you do disappear, she will offer you a bag of biscuits that are shaped like bones. For any dogs you might happen to come across.
Oh,
Any
cute.
anywhere. And feel free to come and ask me for more when you run out.
I will. I certainly will. Um, may I'll
I'll explain. We've got Black Unicorn protecting this place, but those of us that currently live here belong to the same pack, and our pack spirit is dog. We
so.
chose dog because dog is a symbol of compassion and acceptance of humanity.
Aww.
And whilst you guys are mages, and some people count them as humans, and some people don't count them as humans, I kind of think, I mean, you don't go changing into any random animals, so you're kind of humans plus magic.
Well, yeah, we're somewhere in the middle. I'm I'm sure there are some mages that could change their shape if they wanted to.
Well, I saw a vampire that could change his shape, so I'm sure there probably are. I'm not
Um.
joking. He turned into a bird and he flew away.
Oh, no, no, no. I'm not laughing at you. I'm just in the whole thing is rather. I mean,
Amusing. Yeah.
yes, yes. Uh, um, I will certainly keep an eye out for any hungry, hungry puppies. Um, for
Oh, and one house
mm,
rule that I'm definitely going to have to put in, kind of, is if you see any stray dogs,
mm,
don't be nasty to them. That's kind of it.
it such a thought would never enter my mind.
I didn't think it would, but just to make it a kind of a rule thing. Don't be
I
nasty
will,
to stray dogs.
I will,
Um,
I will, I will only make one exception to that if I may, as it is kind of important.
if they
If
attack you, that is completely different. That is self-defense, not attacking dogs.
okay, I will, and of course, I would rather stop them rather than hurt them. But just as long as we're clear on that, because I'm sure there are other supernaturals that could use animals to attack other people. So
Quite possibly.
I, mm,
Oh, speaking of other supernaturals,
mm,
I don't really understand them much, but there are some very evil mages that we need to deal with.
women more.
And apparently, because I healed one of them, they might have my energy and be able to see various stuff, which is worrying. So,
Uh,
so we need to
okay.
deal with them. I'm just kind of being open about that. And whilst, like I said, everyone. I don't tend to have problems with people because of what they are. Who they are is a different matter.
Okay,
I'm just saying that they're very not nice people.
well, as I said, when and well, if you're comfortable with me fighting alongside you, um, I agree. We need to hunt these evil mages down, and if not kill them, at least make sure that they can't hurt anyone. Um, okay. I have some work to do. It seems. Um,
Okay. Thank you for telling me all this, and thank you for agreeing to stay and to help. And I hope that you're able to fix things with Alex.
that issue. That issue is in the gods' hands now.
I can't help but wonder if he needs cleansing, but if he's so angry with me, he probably won't accept that. When we
I'm.
first met,
Mm,
he was injured by a spirit from by a bullet from a bane,
mm,
and he
Adam.
lost all his memory,
Mm,
and none of the mages could heal him
mm.
because the energy was still there. But once I got rid of that, they could heal him properly.
I'm not. I'm not trying to dissuade you from trying to help him or trying to maintain your friendship. The only thing I wish to do is advise you to be on your guard.
Unfortunately, there are quite a few things I need to be on my guard from, and have needed to be on my guard from for months. So I do appreciate the warning, I really do, but being on my guard is very much part of the course. And she seems a bit depressed by that thought.
Um,
Like she kind of wishes she didn't have to.
and and Tom, seeing this, will sort of break his his last cookie in half and offer her half of his cookie.
It's quite all right. I've got loads more, but thank you. I do appreciate the gesture.
I'm I'm here to help. You have only to ask. I will get to work on our shared project. I would just a quick out of character. I would kind of like to see about maybe doing a follow-up scene with an ST to sort of oversee how I cast the magic, just to make sure that I'm doing it properly.
Mhm.
As it's going to be a rather prolonged casting because I want it to be powerful.
Yep.
So if if I can get a suitable ST, either a werewolf one or a mage one, would you be up for that?
Yeah, quite certainly. Probably a mage one because the intern is a mage, and this you'd be casting the spell, and it was a ban, and by expanding the area of effect kind of thing. So I'm thinking it would be under a ward. I think it's a correspondence entropy or something.
I
I
might
don't
be able
know.
to do. I might be able to do something similar. I don't have those two spheres yet.
Okay.
But I still need help with my XP anyway. So
Okay.
So
Yeah, well, like I said, I will totally be up for a scene like that. We can even arrange so I can bring our Theurge along. I don't know if there'll be any help, but you can try.
awesome, awesome, and thank you so much for doing a scene with me.
No problem. Thank you
And
for doing a scene with me, and thank you, watchers, for watching. And I think there will end the scene, unless you've got anything else.
I'm good for now.